Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to the Sacred Light Collective podcast. My name is Ali, and I feel inspired to step into this world of podcasting to share my thoughts, my musings, my conversations with spirit, and I'm really unsure exactly where this journey will take me, or will take you, will take us, as we co-create in this space together. This feels like the medium in which I feel called to share is my higher self and various energy and beings, spirit, and different aspects of consciousness. And I have many little conversations, and I feel like I have so many nuggets of wisdom, of thoughts of activation and expansion that I have to share. But I've been yet to find the right medium in which I share that really resonates with my truth and which feels aligned for me. And it's funny because I've been feeling this nudge to step into the world of sharing via podcasting for many months now. And I have been avoiding stepping into the space. And I was actually listening to a podcast today that was speaking with reference to being called into taking action and taking the action when we feel the pull or the call in alignment with our intuition, because that is the most supportive manifestation technique. It's to manifest with aligned action. So here I am diving headfirst in and trusting that whatever this space needs, whatever this space is called to create, will just unfold. I anticipate that I will do relatively bite-sized episodes because I know myself, I'm an avid podcast listener, but I really like the small bites of information. And I say small, but like 20 to 30 minutes at the most, because it feels like that's really easily digestible. And often how I feel for me personally is that it often can feed into what I need to receive most at the time. So it's a really beautiful way to manifest synchronicity and affirmation along the way too. And I think that as I speak into what I'm hoping to create here under the Sacred Light Collective podcast, that it is for you, for the listener, the incredible divine souls that are drawn into the energy of this podcast, that it really is that you receive whatever it is that you most need at the time. And I really feel that there is something quite powerful here with the sharing of the words and the transmission. And while you can't see me physically, there's an energy transmission that is moving through me, that is being shared as part of these words. And it almost feels like the words are coming to life. I'm getting almost this slight vision of feeling like the words are being shared with you across time and space right now, because I don't know who's going to listen to this and when they're going to listen to it, but I know that you're receiving exactly what you need. And that might be receiving healing, activation, integration, expansion, or guidance, or synchronicity. And maybe it's just a feeling of support, of not feeling alone. Because I think for many of us, no matter what stage of our spiritual journey, our awakening, or our ascension journey, that it can be sometimes really comforting to just know that you're not going crazy, you're not alone, that there are others that understand you, that feel you, that know what you're going through, and that you can kind of connect with, to feel supported, that you can have that space held for you. You can be seen in that as well. And that's something that I am really passionate about too, because I feel that has been very instrumental for me. I find myself drawn to listening to lots of podcasts or lots of sharing through aspects of social media to really not just learn more, not just understand more, but to also feel that I'm not alone and that I'm not losing my mind, my marbles. And I think that as part of that, I'm really understanding my own personal mission is contributing to the supporting of this collective oneness, of this call to oneness, to appreciating that we are one with all. And the unity consciousness as we expand into the new earth, as we receive Gaia's ascension, and as we really begin to remember our own divine potential, the divine sovereign beings that we are, the power that we are, and that we hold, and that we can create with. It really is an evolution of journeying to remember who you truly are. Like each time just receiving a little bit more deeply and fully and completely, really opening to a depth of love and compassion and self-acceptance, a little more deeper every time as you move around the spiral. Move around that spiral of healing, which I also feel like really represents this going within and the journeying within and moving further and further within. So I'm really excited to open this space and to see what wants to be shared through me and to see what's here to create, to co-create with you, and to feel my own expansion as I step in with faith and trust into this new journey for me. So I want to thank you for being here with me and for becoming part of the Sacred Light Collective. I really look forward to co-creating and journeying with you over the coming episodes. Because I would also like to add that this podcast may not be completely curated. You know, you might hear me stumbling over my words or sharing really personal aspects of my journey. And really what I'm feeling is to just show up in the moment and to record something in the moment. I don't know if that will be once a week, once a month, every day, who knows, because it feels like I just want it to be very natural, to be very authentic. Because I'm feeling the call to speak to you as though I'm speaking to myself, as though I'm speaking to a friend, my daughter, my family, my clients. My feeling and the knowing that I have about bringing this transmission of me through me is about being very much natural, authentic, and I hope to be quite relatable, because I want you to feel like we are just friends talking. We are souls that are connecting, remembering together, supporting and guiding each other. So that's the intention that I feel for this space, that I'm the friend that you listen to, sitting with a cup of tea or coffee or going for a walk or sitting out in nature and just chatting, all the things. I feel the energy of those that are being drawn to the podcast and to my energy and the transmission that I carry. So I'm really trusting that this will resonate with who it needs to. And then I don't need to curate it. I don't need to bring to life something that isn't who I am. And in part, I feel like that is as much for me as it is for you. I feel like I'm feeling curious that I'm actually being drawn to say that aloud, that I'm sharing that here with you now. And the knowing that I'm feeling, just as I'm speaking into this now, already here we are. This is me. This is what you can expect. But this knowing that I'm feeling from my higher self is that it's important for me to claim this here too. It's almost giving myself permission to be myself, even though this is my podcast and I'm creating this for myself, if nothing else. But there's something there about saying things like that aloud, even if it is just me that hears it. There's something very powerful about claiming that for yourself. Because really that's been one of the most challenging aspects of my own personal journey. That's been learning to show up as myself in the world, to just be naturally, authentically me, because I've spent the better part of 40 years not being that. And so what I've really been uncovering, probably really deeply in the last 4 to 5 years, is really rediscovering who I am. So I've been in part like in this remembering journey, but there's also been this rediscovering of who I am in this life while remembering my divinity, and then kind of bringing that all together. So who do I feel called to really be in this life now? And it feels somewhat freeing. And this kind of a magical feel about that, because it's like, well, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? Like, I have the power to do that, to create that, to choose that. And that's what I want for you. And I think that's where sometimes social media can be a little bit challenging, perhaps is the word I would use. Well, I personally find that a little bit challenging, because I think that there is this desire to compare myself, and maybe you can relate to this as well, to compare myself, to see what others are doing, and then to try and anticipate, what is it that the reader wants me to be, the listener, the watcher. So that people-pleasing element really rears its head so easily. And I think that's something perhaps why this pull to this medium in the podcast forum has resonated so strongly with me, because here I can just open myself and speak. But what I do know is, as I even say that aloud, I can feel this isn't where it ends. So I don't think I'm going to get off the hook that easily. I think that there is still going to be an element of growth that comes from showing up consistently in some way, perhaps more visually as well. But, come with me, follow me. Let's take this journey together. Maybe this is already resonating with you, because I can see already from this first episode and recording this, there's just so much freedom here, because I feel like I'm talking to myself as I would normally. Probably my neighbours do think I'm crazy, because I do talk to myself quite a bit, but it's myself and my highest self, my oversoul, my own consciousness, my guides, the beings, the energy, the consciousness that I connect with, to the earth, the dear Gaia. Like, there are so many beautiful moments of sharing these intimate conversations that I really want to be able to share that. There is so much that I know is worth sharing, and I know that it's not just coming through for me. And I'm so excited to bring to life, through this podcast, these moments where we can share in intimate conversations with depth, with understanding, with compassion, with love, and not thinking about what we need to project. For me personally, I'm not thinking about the image that I'm projecting here, or that I need to prepare something, or that I need to think about it. I'm just really opening up my voice. So I really feel there's power in me voicing this with you and sharing this with you, because I feel like there is a reminder here, and there's an invitation here for you, beautiful soul that's listening to this now, that it's okay to just be you. It's okay to not be perfect, because what is perfect anyway? And it's okay. You don't need to feel that you need to compare yourself, or that you're lesser or greater than anyone else, or that what you're offering is better, lesser, or greater, is not enough, is too much. There is space for all of us to be seen and to be heard in our own way. And that's what I want to bring to life, not just for me, but for you. And I am well aware in this very moment my ego is speaking to me, somewhat quietly yet insistently, nagging in the background that nobody's going to listen to this anyway. What's the point of doing this? Because nobody's going to listen to this anyway. But I'm choosing to send love and compassion to my ego in this moment, as I honor my ego mind is full of fear for stepping into this new experience, to receiving more of myself, my true self, my divine self, to showing up, to showing and sharing and being more of myself. And that it is okay to feel the fear of uncertainty and all of the other feelings and emotions that brings. But I am still choosing to move forward anyway. I'm really choosing to feel this fear. And I'm choosing to feel this fear while holding myself, my ego mind, with love and with compassion and with such gentleness. And so if there's anything that I can offer you as a takeaway from this episode, from my very first podcast episode, is to feel the fear, is to feel it. You know, anyone that is a client or becomes a client, you will know that I always talk about we need to feel it. The only way through the fear, through the feelings, the emotions, is to go through it. Listen to the fear. Listen to the voice, the ego, the mind, and hold that part of you with love and compassion and a gentle acceptance. We want to invite this part to come along for the ride. We want to bring the ego, the mind, the inner critic, the inner perfectionist, your inner child, the shadows, whatever it might be. We want them to come into your heart, to come into oneness, into unity. Allow this part of you to come into your heart, to come into the love and compassion that you hold within your heart. Gently holding yourself while still moving forward. Because I'll tell you, every time you take that loving, compassionate action and you step into the fear, you step through the fear, you empower yourself. You empower your ego mind, the inner shadow, to recognize that that fear felt or perceived was not real. You empower the knowledge within you that it is okay to do things differently, to make choices that lead you somewhere new, somewhere different or unknown, and that you are okay. You are okay. Even when you do things that scare you a little, you are still okay and you will be okay. Supporting each time your mind and body to get more comfortable in the uncomfortable. And the more you do that, the more ease that comes every time that you take action or make change or do something a little outside of your comfort zone. It gets easier. So maybe as you're listening to this, your inner voice is nudging you already. Your higher self is nudging you already, or you know there's something that you have been avoiding or putting off or procrastinating on because it's scary. And maybe you've already said no. Maybe deep down you know you shouldn't have said no. Or that you said no because it was a fear-based no. I would invite you to just hold it, to feel it, to see it, to acknowledge what that fear is, to ask what's there. Speak to that part of you. Give space for that fear to talk to you, to receive it, to hold it. And in that very action alone, you'll find that you can diffuse some of the fear that has been arising. And perhaps that'll allow you to ask yourself, what would it be like if I stepped into that? If I chose that? If I said yes to that? What would that feel like? And notice if there's a little less fear. Maybe there's a little more excitement. Something that I find is I have started to identify it as nervous anticipation because I know that it's aligned for me, just like starting this podcast. But there was fear there. I felt into it, allowed it to diffuse, allowed myself to really hold it and feel it and see it and really go underneath it. And what I found was this nervous anticipation because it felt right to do. It was something that my soul was calling me to do, my heart was calling me to do. But of course, it's on the edge of my comfort zone, so it is going to feel a little bit anticipatory, if that's a word, if I haven't just made that up. So maybe, just maybe, this will inspire you to say yes, to take action, to feel the fear and do it anyway. Or maybe it's just practicing feeling the fear, identifying what that fear is. What's underneath that fear? What is really there? Not the illusion, what is really there? Well, beautiful souls, on that note, I'm holding you with deep love and compassion and gratitude. Know that even in this exchange, as I said at the start, there is an energy transmission making its way to you right now, sending you love and light to soothe you, to soothe your mind, to soothe your body, your nervous system, to begin to support you to diffuse the fear that you might be feeling now as you explore this. I would invite you to open your heart and receive, dear ones. Open your heart and receive. I am sending you love, light, and blessings from my heart to yours. And it is with gratitude, love, and truth within, I thank you for sharing this time with me. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste.